back to the Slow Car Salon. Now, you join me from the interior of a new car that will be featured on the channel here. It is a 1991 Honda Accord CB9 wagon EX trim. So I got the moonroof, and I actually don't know what else the EX gives me, but it's very cool. I'm driving it home right now after purchasing it from the previous owner, where we will explore into the world of automotive archaeology and see what secrets this car has to give that the previous owner or owners failed to disclose. So stay tuned and let's get started. It's a good test of the door seals. No leaks.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
The roof. It's like,
Yeah, no, he said the moon.
No water damage.
Yeah, he said the moonroof doesn't leak, so that's good. And so begins our search into the realm of automotive archaeology. Oh God, I'm scared. It looks like somebody's been murdered back here. Does the load floor come up? Ow. I think it does. Oh, how? Oh, here we go. Aha. So the carpet comes back. Oh. Okay, that's not as bad as I was thinking, but there is water in the trunk from unknown source and some tools. Okay, that's not so bad. Okay, yeah, the water here is a little concerning, but considering the paths that I think I see it taking, it's pretty clear to me that this might be taillight gaskets, and luckily that's very simple. And there's also some drainage from back here. I did have it just washed, but yeah, I'm just looking at where there's a little bit of wetness or water from the drain holes, but that, yeah, I think is probably very simply attributed to taillight gaskets, and yeah, luckily that's very easy to do. So just going to dry this up. Luckily there wasn't much trash or anything here, so I'm just going to vacuum up what I can. I got some free zip ties, screwdrivers, bolt, something there. Yep, and just clean this up. All right, so cleaned up all that water, and I found the spare wheel out of all of the spare stock wheels I was given. Figured this one was the spare since the barrel was the cleanest, no brake dust. It has a negotiator tire on it, or negotiating driving. Anyway, there's a couple little areas I still need to vacuum back here, but then it's pretty well buttoned up at this point, and then I'll have to move on to the front of the car. I still have all these like amp and speaker wires back here that I'm not necessarily going to use. Stereo doesn't work, and there's these weird speaker pods up on the top, which I want to delete because they're just kind of up and there on black on a tan headliner. So I'm going to get rid of those as well so I can put in the stock 4-inch speakers at some point. Okay, after a little bit of vacuuming and scrubbing, some protectant on the dash and other things, didn't really get into like actually cleaning a lot of the dirt off because it's protectant. I just figured it's never been hydrated before. It's been sitting in the sun. I'm really surprised this dash isn't cracked because boy, does it shine now. Cleans up well. The seats, now that we got rid of those disgusting seat covers, actually were surprising in that they were covering actually pretty decent seats. You probably could use a pass with a upholstery cleaner, but that we can handle later. The back also wasn't all too bad, luckily. Not too many crumbs and Cheetos and French fries and things. Give that a pass with some protectant and cleaner later, because I really only needed to focus on the front where I'll be sitting, which, yeah, could just use some love, and this is kind of just hanging on for the ride. I don't know why it's not even bolted down, but that's okay. It's not necessarily a necessity for trying to drive it across the country, which is exactly what is going to happen, because I'm going to drive this car from California, where I used to live, to Colorado, where I now live, and it's going to be my family car. So yeah, main thing with going about all this is make it livable so that I can actually like survive the drive and be decently comfortable and make sure the thing's not going to fall apart on me. All right, we're having a quick peek under here just so I can check on things, and just been noticing when I was driving I was having clonk going on, and that might be why I thought the tension control rod was loose. At least it is on this side. I think the other is a little more loose, but point is I'm just going to get in here and try to tighten this interface up a little bit so that doesn't clonk. But this side is okay. I think this is just from the spherical bearing clonking against the mount. It's the other side that was definitely more noisy. So I'm gonna check that side because this is just from the bearing hitting here as well. So yeah, other than that, the transmission looks good. I don't see any of their major oil leaks in here. It's got some nice Megan coilovers. There's a leak of some kind happening from back here. Can't tell if might be power steering, which is not all too uncommon on these cars, unfortunately. My Prelude leak's kind of the same. It's just ripping off the sway bar over there. It's downpipe leaks, and I think it leaks from the bellows here. And then that section is just welded to the cat up ahead, so the flange isn't even bolted together. So hopefully I can find somebody to help repair that at some point along the drive to quiet things down and keep the fumes at bay. But we'll see. Just depends on, I guess, what I find during the road trip. But other than that, everything else looks pretty good under here. I don't see anything concerning from the radiator or leaks. There was an automatic radiator. It just had its cooler lines unused, which is fine. But yeah, other than that, I don't see any other really major anomalies under here, which is good. I guess much like my Prelude, the power steering leaks under here have prevented a lot of rust. I guess that's not necessarily a big thing in a California car, but for going to Colorado, maybe. We already have our protective layer. All right, I came to the... Uh-oh. That's fun. Anyway, the tension rod on this side is definitely loose, so I gotta just make sure that's all tightened up. It's not the link, but it's the actual rod itself, which is causing some clunks. So I'm just gonna make sure that gets tightened up on both ends. And why is... Okay, so that's a little more tame, but not this. Come on. Anyway, let's see if I can peel it off. I don't know. Anyway, I also seem to have some oil pan seepage back here. That might all be... Yeah, that's definitely a source of leak as well. That's why all this stuff over here is kind of coated. But luckily, oil pan gaskets aren't too bad on these cars, luckily. So, yeah, there's that. Also got this underglow I got to remove. It is not welcome in this car, not any means. So there's a couple of self-tappers here that are securing it. So I'll just take those off. You get the front one on, and then it has this cool lip and some unfortunate zip tie action right here to secure it to the bumper. But it's passing the edge of the bumper as well, so I'm just going to trim it at that point and just get it off so that it's just not going to have any potential of rubbing the tire, because that just also just looks kind of silly. So we're going to fix that, get rid of the underglow, ignore the swastika on my oil pan, and tighten up the tension control rod. Yeah, there we go. Trimmed. Not the best, but just enough to get that to clear. It's because this is a cheapy lip. I don't necessarily need to... There we go. Don't necessarily need to make it pretty. I just want to get that extra flap out of the way.
You're done with the cover, right?
Yes. And I did.
It's pretty nasty.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was frightening because it was causing the plastic part to chatter while I was cutting it. Anyways, last step is to check the tire pressures before I set off, and obviously pack everything in the car. So I have some extra parts, like an extra distributor in there just in case. Downpipe in case I can get my exhaust leak fixed, just with the flex section and the flange and some extra gaskets and stuff. Okay, cool. So that's clean and sorted out enough for now. I think for overall safety, all the tires were already near 32 PSI, which is perfect. So yeah, I'll just make sure I go buy fluids for it in the morning before I leave. And then, yeah, just got to get inside and sort out some paperwork before I go to the DMV and get the title transfer all done and whatnot. So that way I'm in good shape. Papers, and junk. And papers. All right, road trip time. First got to hit the DMV and get my registration or transfer of ownership all sorted out, and then hit the road. So hopefully there are no snags there, but we'll see. I don't think there should be any issues because I've done this a million times before, and yeah, should be pretty smooth sailing. Got the car all loaded up with a spare wheel set and luggage and parts and stuff, so should be good to go. All right, everyone, great success. I got my tags at DMV and I should get my title in the mail soon. But now, we are on the Bay Bridge. So heading east on 80, it's pretty much gonna be my route all the way. And should be smooth sailing from there. The car's doing really good. We're putzing along. I do have some bulbs out in the back, unfortunately, especially on my right rear turn signal. So I do have a hyper flash issue, like so. But that's hopefully something I can get to a little later. But it shouldn't be too critical for this drive. All right, making a quick stop at O'Reilly's here outside of North Auburn, just before I start getting up the hill into like Tahoe and like Donner Pass and stuff. Pretty uneventful 170 miles, like honestly, I think barely drinks any gas, or unless the fuel gauge is being more optimistic than I think. But anyways, I'm just gonna pick up some fluids and some extra tools just to take with me because I didn't pack any tools when I flew out from home. So at least if I don't end up using them, I can return them, and if I need them, I need them. But at least I'll get some oil, coolant, power steering fluid, a little bottle of brake fluid, just little things to help me along, just in case. Not that the car is gonna have any problems, trust. But at least I'll have them with me for the road, and then continue on. All right, quick review. I got a tool set just in case, bulbs to solve some taillights that are out here and turn signal, sprayway glass cleaner for the glass because my windshield sprayers don't work, towels, some power steering fluid just in case, cheapest oil on the shelf. I'm not gonna worry too much about coolant right now, but yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can get back here and get to those bulbs. Can't see them, but I can feel them in there. It's for this guy and this guy. Okay, good. Got those out. One's going to be a dual filament. One's going to be a single. There's my dual. There's my single. Perfect. Oh, that didn't fix it. These old bulbs were like super covered in grease for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, that didn't fix it. Still have hyperflash. That one's not on. Not sure what's happening, but hey, they're in there. Running fine, we've just been cruising, but only just now check engine light has come on. I'll have to look into that. Unfortunately, I didn't bring a piece of wire to go jump the check connector so I can have it give me a code, but I mean, car's still running fine, feels good. So yeah, I don't know. Odd. Maybe it'll go away. Alright, well, I just literally cycled the ignition via the key while it was running, turned it back up, back on, kept going, and it's going off, so maybe an anomaly. If it comes back again, maybe there's more reason to investigate further. Pretty mountains. Pretty. Check engine light, go away. I bet it's just freaking out because of all of the climbs and falls from elevation and back down that it's been doing, and the computer's probably freaking out, so I'll just pull the ECU fuse overnight, also probably for security anyways, and that'll probably take care of that. But about 100 miles from my destination, rolling well, so I mean, nothing else to report. This has been a very uneventful drive, but in a good way. It's been a really good way. Yeah, no complaints here. right, that was pretty uneventful. Do you want to blow your savings? Hotel's just up ahead. I'm gonna turn in for the night. See y'all in the morning. It is the next day. I'm just gonna do a quick cursory fluids check and put my ECU fuse back in. Hopefully that'll solve part of the check engine light problem, also anti-theft, so gonna take a look at that. F22. This one's an A5. That's very interesting. I'd say that's about just a tad under half a quart down. I don't know. There's a little streak on the dipstick, but the majority of the splatter ends up kind of halfway between the marks. So I'm just going to put a touch in now that all the oil is sunken into the oil pan. I'm sure when we're running, we want a little bit more capacity, so we have oil in the head. And then, yeah, and we're going to continue heading east. Okay, yeah, this thing definitely leaks some power steering because I'm pretty sure I filled it up and now the fluid level is down there. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I bought some because I'll just top it up. Okay, cool. Successful cold start. Let's get out of here. Made it to Salt Lake. Gonna do a quick breakfast stop in about 10 minutes here, refuel, and then head up the pass. All right. That should be the last fuel stop until like Laramie. Yeah, we're just gonna get out of Salt Lake here and get up the hill. I ended up just filling up with 88 octane instead of 85 for just a little extra knock protection. So let's hit the road. All right, heading up the pass. Super pretty colors right now. This is awesome. Hell yeah, onion truck, onion truck, onion truck, onion truck. Hell yeah, Union Pacific diesel electric locomotive. Look at the tanker train. All right, another state line crossed. All right, one more to go and then home. Report here. Yeah, so far so good. No check engine light coming back because my ECU reset overnight is still holding. I ended up making sure that the car wouldn't start overnight by doing that too, so I guess that makes me feel a little better. Train, 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 train. Train. See you later. Alright, next to the road. Oh no, go away. Destroyer ships in the atmosphere just like looming over. That's so cool, actually. Oh dear, that's quite the operation. Off we go. all downhill from here too, so I think I'll be able to hypermile the last eighth of the tank here actually, and probably make it home before I need to fill up. That'd be pretty cool. Let's go. Did it. Goodness, my windshield's filthy and the wrong reflection. Just got to make it through Old Town here, and then I'm pretty much home. So maybe another 15-20 minutes. Good stuff. Holy shamoly, I just made it home. Park over the same oil spots as the Prelude. Oh my gosh, I have to pee. Well, successful journey. Excellent. We didn't necessarily roll over 300K yet, but soon, I'm sure. Oh my God, we did it. Holy moly. Whew. All right, time to get some sleep. Oh, it's only 7:14. Well, dinner and sleep, I guess. All right, till tomorrow. All right, one thing that's gonna probably help me fix my weird high idle is turning down this fast idle thermo valve plunger, which it was definitely very loose, so I had to pop off these screws. One of them was stripped, of course, because nobody ever uses the correct JIS screwdriver. I got these vessel screwdrivers in Japan from the hardware store, which is awesome. So I'm just going to replace that hardware with some Allen-headed screws just because they're a good match to what was already on the car. So I'll just tighten that plate back down and hope that it works. Okay, good. I'm not idling at like 1700 RPM. It's hitting around 1100-ish there, and it'll probably drop back down. So hopefully, if I do need to adjust anything else, it's just a simple turn of a screw on the throttle body or something like that. Still got my check engine light. I guess I'll find out what it's for. Just got to get a piece of wire and jump the check connector here. But I'm gonna run some errands, get some gas, and come back and check it. Oh yeah, this is excellent. It's not rev hanging anymore. It shifts so nicely. Oh, okay, I'm glad that was the issue. I mean, it's a very common Honda thing, so I'm glad it's well known, well documented, and hell, I knew about it, so that's good. All right. Oh, well, there we go. I guess after adjusting the fast idle valve, the idle's nice, and the check engine light now went away, so I guess maybe that's what it was complaining about. Maybe an idle speed or some other kind of weird error. I don't know. I didn't think the LBD1 was as sophisticated as that to complain about it, but hey, I'll take it. Yay, just got a new fuse box cover for the missing one. And it goes in here. Something like that. I just don't know which direction this release thing goes, but let's see if I can snap this on. Ah, there we go. That is a little bit tight, but I'll figure it out. There we go. Just had to finagle it a little bit. Well. Just cleaning that door switch, and so much stuff started working. Not only do I have the dome light working back here, but I also have the key illumination ring working. Got the light chime working. And the classic Honda H Morse code key warning chime. And there you go.
We got an ice scraper for the ice we never get in the south. That's pretty good. Seat has barely seen any use whatsoever. Actually, that is impressive.
Well, I was just changing out this battery cable situation with some stock ones I found on eBay, and oh yeah, just let me drain my battery cable fluid? What in the world? What is dripping out of this cable? Excuse me? The starter motor cable juice? Like, what is going on? I wonder if I have any vacuum leaks. Wouldn't know if I did. For any particular reason at all. Yeah, no idea. Not a freaking clue. Yeah, like this little cappy thing, not even the piece of plastic here, but just rubber cap, which was rubber, is also just plastic. So I just got a piece of old extra vacuum line that I have, just a nice little piece of OEM line, and I'm just gonna loop it because these two ports back here are inconsequential to anything, so looping them is not gonna be a big deal. I'm just not gonna have any vacuum leaks, which is great. All right, well, immediately first drive after replacing the front subframe and traction bar situation with this factory setup, oh my God, it's luxury. No clangy bangy knocking at the front. The engine can torque back and forth with enough compliance. I don't feel it all the time. Oh, this is amazing. So I had spent some time in the corner of my car here trying to figure out why possibly my right-hand corner light, both the turn signal and this running lamp, were not working. I had come back to the connector back here that you can see because they'd been kind of corroded. I wonder if some water had gotten in that corner of the trunk and corroded the connector a little bit. So I did try to clean it up and take out the pins and wire brush them and stuff to get a better connection, and add some silicone paste or dielectric grease, as I should say. And I'd done all that with absolutely no change. So I've now ended up tearing out the entire load floor from the trunk, only to come around and discover that this was unplugged. And here, there's its mate. Now with that plugged in, what do you know? Now I bet the turn signal's going to work. Ho, no hyper flash. Well. Good, now I can make right-hand turns and not feel like I'm being sketchy. And while that's all awesome, what's not so awesome is discovering this broken bolt that was meant to be holding this corner of this piece of the load floor in place. So I guess I'll have to spend some time to extract that. All right. Not success so far, but I was able to drill through it because clearly this is not a high tensile bolt or anything. So I guess I just got to drill it out more. Oh well. Ha! All right, I got it. I ended up with a larger drill bit. I guess it ended up catching, and then it spun the rest of the broken bolt through, and it popped out underneath. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Sweet. Don't always get that lucky, especially if you're working in a blind hole. So awesome. I'll just gotta clean this up, repair these threads, and then we should be good to go. There we go. All cleaned up. Oh, I don't like the sludgy stuff up here. But it's not like I'm keeping this motor for long. I just need this thing to stop leaking. Nice. Now don't leak. Oh, it's got all of the trim. Oh, rats. These lights are probably broken, but... Oh, it's got complete panels back here. I have to grab these. Excellent. All right, well, this thing's pretty decently complete. Not too many things have been taken, but yeah, unfortunately, it just has a lot of wear and tear from just being old. It has 243,000 miles, which is not crazy, but don't know why it ended up here. I'm gonna pop the hood, get a couple more things from under it, but this is a pretty nice little honeypot, I gotta say, in terms of getting all the parts that I needed that I was missing from my car, including some panels, I'm so happy about this, the antenna, the power antenna, and a bunch of other little the roof speakers, the speaker covers, everything. Oh, it's so good. Unfortunately, had to get a little violent in here because I was just running out of time, and somebody very kindly lent me their screwdriver so I could get stuff out because I wasn't able to get my own. But this is pretty sweet. All right, I know we're getting a little long into the intro part of this video. Hi, Roofbox. And basically the goal here is now I'm just kind of going around the car and replacing or changing things that have been either missing or were wrong. Like, for instance, this had the wrong H badge in the middle. This said Accord from like a newer model, so I put the OEM Honda badge on it. I still have the other badges on the other side of the hatch to do. But what we're looking at here is the rear wiper, because these blades are no longer available. Particularly the arm, you can put inserts in them, but the inserts are no longer available from Honda, and no other similar insert will work. I thought a CRV one might, but the profile is very different for this arm. So what I learned is that we can get the wiper arm from a 2005 to 2010 Odyssey. That will bolt on. It's just about the same size, maybe slightly shorter, but like by half an inch. Like, you probably wouldn't even notice by the sweep of the arm. So I got that plus the OEM nut to secure it to the wiper arm shaft, and then a new blade as well. So we're going to throw that on. All right, well, one development here is that I had to remove this dust cap trim off of the cup here for the motor shaft to install this because the spline in the wiper arm is much more outboard on the wiper arm versus on the old arm, where it's a little bit deeper on the arm itself, so it doesn't need to go as far down and therefore doesn't compress the dust seal. But that's okay, I'll just have to keep an eye on that. Here's the part number for the nut, in case you're wondering. But yeah, now that looks like it's on, and we can just get now these standard off-the-shelf arms and throw them on. And there we go. Okay, I lied. It's more like an inch less than half an inch. You can kind of tell by the dust of how long the original arm was versus not. You can kind of tell based on how long the new wiper is compared to the old one based on the dust. But it looks like it'll work out okay, and we just have to finish. And now we just got to finish this up by popping on the trim cover, and there we go. Here's another fun one, a little wagon specific piece that are impossible to find. Well, I got that one out of that junkyard car, as you saw. But of course I get a message from the previous owner of this vehicle saying, hey, I found a bunch of missing stuff for the wagon. Oh, did ya? I wish you had found that when I bought the car from you 2 months ago. That's okay, we'll see what he has and get that worked out, because then if I have spares, then cool, and then maybe in a later date I can go back to that junkyard car and get the rest of stuff, or just have a stash of rear wagon parts, just considering they're so crazy rare. But anyways, yeah, this is the gas door release trim, and yeah, you cannot really find these out of sedans and coupes because there's always a trunk release lever next to these. So I got the trunk release cover from one of those and found out, oh, it only needs the one for the lever. So I got that. I got the small trim screw, so let's throw this on. And there it is. It's not quite on center, but it still pops back into place.
All right, so next on the buttoning things up, oh, hi, floor mats. Next on the buttoning things up list are some things that are magnetized to the speakers here. Some speakers, horn, because mine was missing the complete set of stock horns. Some very rare 4-inch speakers for the roof. Very nice junkyard find from that car earlier. Let's see, there's spares. What else do we need? One of these hooks that goes... there you go. You can see there's one here, and then the other one here is missing, and that is so that you could put this up, so that, I guess, if you're doing rallycross and you have luggage back here, you don't want to fly into the passenger compartment. Anyway, maybe it's a pet separator. So I got that. Yeah, a couple of the missing trims that go over the speakers as well, plus some of the service port panels and other things for the rear. I know I'm missing the power antenna currently, but that needs to be rebuilt because it needs the mast and gear system rebuilt, so we'll be looking at that in a separate episode. But all that wiring is unfortunately here and cut, so we'll do that in a later time. But I have all the other missing trim. It's just that, unfortunately, to install some of these missing trims, I got to pull off this panel, as well as a couple other pieces in the load floor. But I think I should be able to get maybe just the lids off the sides of the load floor off to then put the missing trim that go here and here in. So let's get to work. Wow. All right, I ran out of light pretty fast. We're having a very odd winter here in Colorado. It's been like 70 and sunny during the day. It's warmer here than in California, so which is kind of crazy to me. So anyways, little recap. I re-added all of these panels back in. I just had to take basically the whole load floor out to get these in because the load floor slips over them. So I have those. Oh, interesting. I didn't even realize that these are missing their own. Oh, are these for... Hang on a minute. I think they are. Aha. They're for cargo tie downs. Okay. Well, I'm glad I grabbed those because I thought I had extra, but maybe I neglected to grab those. Okay, so I'll make sure to bolt those down. Anyway, so I have basically everything except for the speaker cover, and I think there's some trim that goes under these rails, but I think I'll just have to see about getting those next time. Unfortunately, I really wish I had more time and tooling to get those from the yard when I did. The last thing I'm going to do is swap out some of these clips for the hatch trim, because obviously you can see some of them got replaced with some generic clips, and I got extra clips, which is really cool. However, now that I put those rear speakers in, I'm going to go up front here. So we'll go in here and test this out because I've actually put my Preludes radio in here because I already had like a Bluetooth module connected to the CD input. So we're just going to test these speakers really quick. All right.
Okay, that's unfortunate. It doesn't work, but I do need to put speakers in the door panels, so we're going to do that next. Shit, it's windy. Okay. Before I put this panel back on, I just want to show you something real quick I did with these speaker connectors. Is I got this connector kit off Amazon. It's supposed to be like a motorcycle connector kit, so it has both spade connectors and also like bullet connectors, both male and female for like motorcycle applications. But I found these work also really well in the automotive world, and it comes with the crimp tool. So it actually ends up being quite a good fit. So this one specifies it can do between 0.5, 1, and 1.5 millimeters squared wiring. I'm not going to do the conversion to American wire gauge for you on that one, but I found it works great because the speaker terminals are 2 different sizes. So these terminals end up being a really great option for this. Already had some extra cable spliced in, so I just ended up putting new connectors on so that they would work with my Alpines. I got these sick S lines Buddy sent me. So as you can see, they have the terminals in different sizing here. So I'm just going to throw these on and get her done. Oh, and I should also note the stock speaker cups are not in here. I bought them, thought to put them in, but they obviously are meant for speakers that don't have necessarily such a massive magnet on the back, so they don't work. So I think it's best that they remain removed, and you can see obviously the speaker area has been kind of cheese-holed a little bit, but I'm not going to try to drill any more holes, so I'm sure there's a pattern in here that I can use to matches up with a speaker. All right, radio test. Let's make sure that this speaker works.
You're listening. Showed FM. Where we play music sometime.
Sweet. Okay, so that's all buttoned up, so at least I have some audio. I ended up trying to put an RSX shift knob in this because I thought it was going to work really well with this Acuity shift collar thing in my RSX shift knob that I had, but I'm just going to put a stock Accord boot on it, and I got a different Acuity shifter, but I'm going to leave that for another time just because there's bigger fish to fry, and I have a very short Christmas break, so I want to use it effectively, and you'll see soon what that's going to be. Unfortunately, with that audio test, I found that my OEM speakers for the roof here do not work, so I'll have to look into some other solution, or at least see what other wagon owners have done here. So I'd like to have that, plus my subwoofer, if I end up finding a nice 6x9 sub, or one with like dual drivers, because it's wired for dual drivers, like this, because the stock one is, but yeah, the one I had found in the yard was unfortunately completely blown. All right, quick fix from things I got at the junkyard. I got a bunch of these little brackets, things that hold the throttle cables and cruise cables. This is a bracket for the stock airbox fins. I'm going to retain that. Interestingly, the end of this bracket is just completely sheared off around this spot, basically, so I don't have one of the harness holders or another one of the bolting locations. And then this, this is for the throttle cable. Or cruise cable, and this is a bracket that holds the brake booster check valve and hose in place. And I don't know why that's just completely missing, but I grabbed them. We're just going to quickly swap them out. Well, luckily that was a quick and easy operation. I even got the OEM length bolt down there for the bracket. There it is. You can kind of see it in there. Anyway, yeah, I just figured it'd be good because you could see where the bracket sheared off. Not sure how. Maybe from somebody yanking the airbox around, not knowing what they're doing. So, with that out of the way, cleans up this area a bit with those brackets. So yeah, one holds the throttle cable, one holds the cruise cable, which they're not looking amazing, but luckily they still work. I just have to see if replacements can be found, or if there's a way to re-sheath these. Unfortunately, they do already have some surface rust, but I don't know, maybe a really long piece of heat shrink would do.
You can also see back here how the cruise cable, aside from my cut clutch cables here, or clutch lines rather, there you go. You see how the stem off of the grommet for the firewall exit of the cruise control cable is broken, but I guess what could you expect from a 300,000 plus mile car, but that's okay. All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to do with the car, I guess, to get it up to speed as far as getting things that were missing reinstalled into the car, just kind of generally sorting it out. I even had to get, it's such a lucky find. I was in Southern California for a family obligation, and I found the 91 wagon-specific bumper turn signal lamps, which I'm super happy about because they're so rare and I found such a clean set. I guess a lot of people may swap to like later model EX bumpers so you can get the fogs, but I'm going to leave this as is because I actually like it. So there's that video for you. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to have a very special series for this car coming right up, so stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one.